You know what's mad, right? Like this year, I'd give music as a whole, UK, US, everything, I'll probably give it about a C+. A lot of people have dropped music. A lot of people have, you know, dropped music videos. Still been quite active, but I don't think the music has stuck as much. Obviously, we just come off the back of summer 2020, which wasn't really a summer at all. And a lot of those songs that usually you'd hear in a club, bar, with your friends, house party, most of those things didn't happen. And if you did, then you're lucky you didn't get no £10,000 fine. And if you got a £10,000 fine, L. So last night, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I was just chilling. I was just minding my own business. And next thing you know, I'm getting texts from people saying, yo, Chip, what's going on with Chip? And I'm like, okay, what? Tell me in it. Because I wasn't looking at my phone. I wasn't even on social media like that yesterday. And then I see that he's dropped 2 tracks. And everyone's talking about Flowers. And I'm like, okay, cool. Let's see what it's saying. So I watched it last night. And yeah, mad thing. Mad thing. So we're almost coming to that 5-year mark where when Stormzy was not the Stormzy we know him as today, him and Chip linked up on that track Here Diss, which was a good look. Do you know what I mean? Chip was kind of fresh off the Bugsy Malone disses and stuff going on. Stormzy was still very much an artist that was getting a buzz but was not as big as he was, as I said earlier. Between then and now, it's gone pear-shaped, it's gone wrong. So obviously we know that the whole Ways track on Insomnia with Skepta and Young Ads, that collab tape, we know there was a few disses that look like shots from Chip to Stormzy, and obviously Mez got flung into the mix, but I feel like most people said, yo, it's really about Stormzy. And then on I Don't Know, which got, I think, GRM Song of the Year, Stormzy said, you know, is that boy sending, I don't know, man first week, blah, blah. You know what I'm trying to say. So as we get to the point now where Chip's ready to drop this mixtape, we get 2 diss tracks to Stormzy back to back. And Flowers is the one we're going to talk about mainly today because that's the one that everyone's talking about. See, man, at the petrol station, the famous petrol station where, you know, he was dissing people, he was running off on people, and it was good. It was a good vibe. It was nostalgic vibes. And I feel like Chip has definitely been able to, you know, use that to his advantage in previous diss tracks. He's always got a video that comes out very quickly, and the visuals are not complex, but they just work well with what he's saying. When we saw him, you know, talking about Ed Sheeran and stuff like that, talking about Ed Sheeran knows about Chip's pen, this, that, the other. And obviously that's a diss at Stormzy being basically a pop star and the Own It song with Burna Boy, etc, etc. Who Chip's worked with in the past, let's not forget the track Reaching a couple years ago. Obviously it was a different vibe to Own It. But I just thought that was interesting because I'm thinking, right, Chip, who always gets corned for being a former pop star, because I don't think I would call Chip, and I don't think anyone would call Chip a pop star now, is going at Stormzy, who is now a pop star. So it's like the generational pop star talents going at each other. I think the most interesting part about the whole video and the whole song itself was the point that he kind of made about Stormzy trying to be a roadman, trying to do drill like tracks, and then also doing gospel. Now, off the back of the song, of course, footage, I don't know if this footage is, obviously the footage is old, but I don't know if it's one of those ones where like it just resurfaced on the slyword or someone just did that cheeky retweet, because so many people started posting when Stormzy pulled up to Chip's house.
You think you can just pull up to people's houses? No one ain't gonna phone you, Stormzy. You're disrespectful, bro, and that's that. I don't even know what's happened, but you can't just pull up to people's houses like that. That's
not a good look for Stormzy, because Stormzy is someone who is seen as like the people's champ, the lovable guy that no one has a bad mouth for, apart from Wiley, and we'll talk about that in a bit. But people seem to, you know, like him. He's gone past that. He did Glastonbury last year. He'll always be on like Jonathan Ross show. He's become that type of level of artist now. He's bigger than the UK rap scene as a whole. And with like Blinded by Your Grace, the donations to Cambridge University and stuff like that, Stormzy has transcended as an artist to someone who is an icon, a pop star, all that stuff that you want to call him. But by pulling up to Chip's house, it kind of ruins that image a little bit, because we had the Maya Jama stuff last year, and he kind of, to be fair, obviously he dropped the song like Lessons and stuff like that, and people didn't really give him too much heat for that, because that was a bit of a superstar couple, not major, but it was an important couple in the UK music scene at the time. But with Stormzy and all that situation going on, he kind of got a pass with that. But you know, obviously Chip brings that up. But Chip brings up Ways. Chip brings up that he was hurt from that. He's more hurt from Ways than he was from breaking up with Maya Jama. That was funny. He dropped a little couple jabs here and there. And then of course on the second track, Killer MC, we see a more upbeat record from Chip, and we got the body bags on the floor, which I'm assuming is Wiley, Cadell, Stormzy, I guess, is one of them as well, because there's a part where it's like close panned into him. And we see Chip in his bag, doing his thing, is what it is, isn't it? This is the part about the whole situation that was mad, innit? And obviously in January, we had Wiley versus Stormzy. I feel like now, even at the time, the consensus was Stormzy won that. Idiot Skengman 1 or 2. 2 was decent, I can't lie. 2 made me think that Wiley might have it, but then Still Disappointed came out. And then after that, when Wiley was going on, I'm a builder like Bob, all this, I was like, I'm also not listening to this song anymore. I'm out. Yeah, I was there. I'm off. But with this one now, the dynamic between Chip and the guy says he can't run out of bars, and for the most part, every time he's in a clash, it's 24 hours and he's dropping a response if the person responds. And Stormzy, who has, you know, got his, I won't say like head out of the water, but I can't think of the right terminology to say it, but has shown that he will get at people. He's tired of people getting at him, so he will get at people when he needs to, which is what he did with Wiley. But the difference between Wiley and Chip is that Chip is a different animal to Wiley. Whereas Wiley kind of, I feel like he was just beefing for the sake of beefing and thought it's clashing for the sport. You can clearly see something's gone on between Chip and Stormzy. Otherwise, you know, my guy wouldn't pull up to your house. It wouldn't be like that. Do you know what I mean? They would be on tracks before, because at the same time, like I said, in 2015, them man were good. It looked like they were good friends. Maybe they were just industry friends, which aren't real friends. Do you know what I mean? Until you get to a level. But maybe it was just that and something happened. But I found it funny that like Chip in the actual Flowers track said, you know, every year it's a new Judas, looks like you're the next one. Chip has nothing to lose in this clash. Chip, if there was a clash or if there was back-to-backs going on, by the time I release this video, Stormzy might have responded. I don't know, innit? But there is no real reason for Stormzy to respond, because Stormzy's in a bigger place. Stormzy is the bigger artist. Stormzy can let this ride out. You know, he could hold a bit of heat for like a couple of days. He doesn't really bang social media like that much anyway, so most of it he'll miss. If he doesn't respond, then it won't matter. Chip might go at him again, because Chip is using this beef and strategically released these 2 tracks because he's got a mixtape coming soon. He says it at the beginning of both videos that he's got a mixtape coming soon. So just remember that. People are probably going to forget that and just get sucked in with the hype. Of course they are. If I was Stormzy, if I was in this situation, I would probably not respond. I'd probably leave it. I'd be like, yo, I mean, cool. Maybe I shouldn't put up your house as a bad image. I mean, it's 2020. If someone does something that's out of the ordinary, someone's going to have their phone out and they're going to film it, because they're going to use it as ammunition against you, against your friends, against an artist, against whatever in the future. Do you know what I mean? Some people just have their phones out anyway, because some people just find things weird and will film regardless. Do you know what I mean? I was on the bus the other day, I see a girl trying to do some rotation 360 selfie, and I'm like, you could only go 180. Where are you going? Like, what's wrong with you? You're gonna hit it. Listen, that's for another time. But yeah, Chip ain't got nothing to lose. Chip needs this promo, because every time he does diss tracks, an album seems to follow up around it, apart from the 1010 album, which I don't think he was dissing anyone. But if he does respond, Stormzy, this will probably be the most interesting beef since Dot Rotten and P Money, which was like 2017. I would like to see, as a fan, as someone who's sitting back and enjoying this and has nothing to do with either side, I would like to see these 2 go at each other. I really would. I want to see Stormzy come back with a response, say his side of the story, say his piece, because right now it looks bad on Stormzy for pulling up to the house, but you're doing Blinded by Your Grace. You might have been listening to that in the car, praying for protection as you drive up to Chip's address in Essex or wherever, but it is not looking good, in it, for him. But silence always makes people forget, because he didn't do anything mad. Stormzy is not one of them people where in this video or in the stuff that Chip's saying, it's going to look mad on him and he can go on with his life. But I feel like people want to see a bit of a clash in it, and I see people on Twitter already saying that, yo, Chip might have saved 2020, blah, blah, blah. I think people like the drama, people like the hype and the fact that there ain't really much going on in music right now, so this would spice things up a little bit. No one's really doing anything, but if Stormzy doesn't want Chip to succeed, he won't respond, because he's giving him more fuel to the fire. It allows Chip to kind of get a tape off. People might be like, oh my God, these songs might be on the tape, or there might be more information. If Stormzy keeps quiet, by next week, it's forgotten about. Life moves on. It is what it is. Simple as that. That is basically what it is, isn't it? People might say, oh yeah, do you remember that time when Chip murdered Stormzy? But by next week, next month, by the time we get to next year, something else might happen and we've moved on. Do you know what I mean? But what do you guys think about this situation? Because I don't know. I feel like they were both good diss tracks, innit? Flowers was better than Killa MC for me, but that was because of the more instant impact. He could have dropped one on one. He could have dropped one yesterday and then one today, and it would have been more impactful for me instead of doing back to back, because then it'd be like, oh, rah, man's going 2 for 2, you know? They ain't even got no breathing space to respond. Right now, shout out Munya, he's responded and he's not even part of it. You know what's there? So we'll have to wait and see what happens with this. But let me know in the comment section below. If you're new to the channel, make sure you leave a like and subscribe. I want to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions. Leave them down below, and I'll catch you guys with another video sometime soon. Peace.